Harvey, what is up, my man?
I am very, very well, mate. It's good to be up here, far from home, man.
Yeah. Obviously, bit of a accent contrast here, like, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. I'm gonna get called posh a lot in
Yeah.
this, but I think I just talk normally.
Yeah, do you know what I was saying before you came, Harvey? I was like, to the lads, and I was like, let's take the piss out of his accent when he comes. Yeah, but we've straight in 10 seconds, we've already done that. So
Yeah.
there we go, we can cross that off now, taking the piss
Nice.
out of your posh accent.
Yeah, I'm not even that posh. The thing is, at home, like I'm not even anything like there's people who are like, oh yes, darling. Like that's just like their thing. Like I know probably about 20% of the people that I know are like that, and I'm there like, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right,
So-
mate. You're right.
so
It sounds posh to us because we're proper phonetic, you know, and we speak with the syllables that the words are pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bumped the hotel we were staying at. Like, there's people that were absolutely off their tits. We got Swaz, which is Coke, right?
God knows.
Mate, fuck knows. These guys were off their tits, and they were like going on, and it's like proper thick, quick Geordie, and I'm like, oh my, like, but like very not like Geordie, like the real twang of like.
Yeah, you'll not be able to notice that difference. I'm from South Shields, so South Shields it's on the Tyne.
Yeah.
So we're Geordies, even though I think we're 11 mile from Newcastle City Centre down the Tyne.
Yeah.
Whereas Sunderland's only 9 mile, but in the opposite direction inland.
Yeah.
We sound nothing like people from Sunderland, but we sound everything like people from Newcastle. However, there is a slight difference. They are even more phonetic, and we can notice the difference with a proper Geordie twang. Like,
Yeah,
they
no,
overpronounce that O's and the U's a lot, whereas we're a little bit smoother from
tune.
South Shields. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, I would say the tune, they would go the tune, like that. Tune. Yeah. Whereas I
Love
would
it.
say tune.
Yeah, because I just started watching Geordie Shore as well.
Yeah.
And like that's like a bit of a, you kind of got to like real listen in and be like, okay, cool.
Just
like,
started watching Geordie Shore. It was fucking good 10 years ago. It's fucking terrible now.
man, no, we've been watching it. Like there's nothing good on Netflix at the moment. So we're like, well, watch Geordie Shore. Like, I'd never seen it because I never had Sky.
Aye.
So it's all on like my 5 player, whatever it's called for Channel 5, and been watching that. That's good crack.
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, they're doing all the original ones are doing really well for themselves now. That was a perfect platform.
Apart from Gaz, who's selling Herbalife.
No, trust us, mate. He's got properties, man.
Yeah.
He's got he's got a millionaire property portfolio. So is what's he called?
Sam Gowland?
Sam Gowland does
I've
as
not
well.
got as far as Sam or Scotty T coming in yet.
Yeah.
It's still like Holly being dramatic.
Yeah. Well, she's even doing well for herself. All of them are. All of them have used their platforms. But anyways, Harvey.
Let's get into it. Let's stop talking.
It's
Talking
called,
tash.
It's called head to head, mate. It's not
Head
called
to
talk shit. That's your podcast, talk shit, isn't it?
Yeah, so let's go head to head, man.
Yeah. So Harvey, you're obviously a good friend of mine based off a mutual friend, a mutual mentor. We both got the same mentor, Paul Mort. And the reason you're up in my neck of the woods is because we're at an event, aren't we, on Friday together. So we thought perfect opportunity to get together because we've done podcasts with self, haven't we, on Zoom and things.
Zoom,
Yeah. So we've shared trainings. Harvey's done podcasts for my guys. I've done podcasts for his guys. We've done various videos together and content. But this was a perfect opportunity to actually be head to head. Yeah. So there's loads of things we're going to talk about today, really. But just a bit of a background. Obviously, Harvey does pretty much the same what I do. Helps people with their body, online personal trainer, helps people lose weight, change the relationship with the food, create confidence. Would you agree, yeah?
Yeah, massively. Like, it's the one thing that I really push it down on is the confidence. Like, that's what my guys want. Mm-hmm. What they need. Yeah. Massively.
Yeah. What's your take on confidence then? Because you know my take, Harvey. You know what I'm going to say, but where do you sit with the whole confidence thing?
It's a weird one. Obviously, like, one thing that I've really taken away from you as well, and just the way you put it, like, I really like some of the ways you put things. And what you say about confidence is as a post-event emotion. So people, I see a lot of people, and a lot of people that I speak to they're like, I want to improve my confidence, and I'm like, cool, awesome, that's great, but they're not really willing to do anything.
Yep.
And like, it's little things. Like, I'm big into like track your wins. Right, 3 things every day that you, like, achievements, things that you're proud of. Like, it's such a simple thing, and like, I've been doing it for over a year now, and my confidence has grown a lot in the last year, and I'm a lot less bothered by other people's thoughts and other people's thoughts, what other people think about me, things like that.
Course,
other people find incredibly stressful. So that's something I've done a lot of work on. So it clearly works. And my guys who do it, and I asked each of my clients every week to send me their five biggest wins, and like at the start it's like kind of like relatively genetic, but it's a practice thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get good if you don't get practice. Like
100%. Yeah.
I could give you 1,000,001 analogies, like that. Oh yeah, you can't get strong if you don't practice lifting weights, or you can't get good at jiu-jitsu without losing a lot of jiu-jitsu, because I'm about to get thumped by Matt later.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, like literally things like that. It's such a you've got to be willing to start, and like, again, you want bigger muscles. Well, then you've got to lift weights over and over and over again, and it's going to probably suck at the start. You might find it hard at the start, but it's pushing it on, and again, I know that one of the things you said we want to talk about is like embracing the discomfort, being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's a very much a doing thing, and there's a lot of things that you can do to improve your confidence, but for me, it's something that you need to do. You need to do practice. It's not going to be easy. Like trying to achieve anything in life, and I know it's something that you talk about a lot, is when you want to achieve like cool shit, right? It doesn't happen by accident. You've got to put the legwork in.
Well, that's why most people have very uninspiring lives, mate, because if it was that easy to have success and confidence and all the finer things in life and the rewards that people want, I don't mean materialistic stuff, I mean internal rewards, happiness.
Yeah.
For a start, if it was that easy, everyone would have it, but nobody seems to, because again, not willing to embrace the discomfort. And you mentioned something before that I'll cover: post-event emotion.
Yeah.
Confidence is post-event.
Same with the motivation.
Everything.
No one's willing to do it. Happiness, you could even say, is that.
Yeah.
Happiness comes from experiencing happy thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I think happiness, mate, I think it's almost like a double-edged sword. I stopped writing, do you know, on the planner that we've got for a program, or whatever journal we might be using, because I've got one for my guys as well. How do you want to feel tomorrow? How do you want to feel today? I've stopped writing happy, because I realised that's not how I want to feel, because I can decide to be happy right now if I want. I can decide to focus on what I'm grateful for. I can decide to focus on what I'm doing well, what I love about myself, and those things are there.
Yeah,
but it's human nature to never be fucking happy. We're never settled. If we always want more, and I've realised that that's not a bad thing. You can say, I always want more, and say, oh, I want more, I'm greedy, I'm this and that. You can have that perspective. Or you can say, well, I want more because I care about my fucking life, and I want it to get better. So you can still experience happy thoughts, but say, well, I still want to get better. So I think happy is almost this fairy tale that we've taught ourselves. You want to be happy, happiness, you know, like pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it's unrealistic. I think we need to accept we can choose to be happy at any moment, but how can we have a sense of purpose, a sense of gratitude, you know, a sense of accomplishment? How can you feel proud of yourself? Like feeling proud of yourself. Would we have any, if everyone felt proud of themselves, would we have any mental health problems?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So we can totally neutralize these negative emotions by looking at these more powerful emotions. In happiness, it's not there, because you'll get there and then you'll go, well, what's next? But what else? Because that's human nature, hardwired.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
So this confidence thing, it's like, well, figure out, what do you want to be more confident around? Is that public speaking? Is that, you know, is that with your partner, taking your clothes off, having sex, whatever, intimate? Is that within your job, communicating with colleagues? Like, what is it that you want to be more confident in? Because saying I want to be more confident is too broad. But what do you want to be more confident in? Because I'm confident to do this, Harvey. But if you said, right, go and I don't know, go and dance in front of this audience, I couldn't fucking do it, because I've never done it before. And I would realise that, well, for me to have the confidence to do that, I'm going to have to practice dancing in front of people. So I'm confident. I'm a confident person in what I do, but there's still things that I'm not confident at because I haven't fucking done it yet. So whatever you want to be more confident in, just say, well, what do I need to practice at to get confident at it? And that's how you create confidence. Post-event, after you've done the reps.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's taking that blind jump of faith. Like,
you've got to be able to do it with uncertainty. People want to be certain before they act. You've got to be willing to do it anyway.
Confident before I do it.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a long time waiting.
I want more confidence, Harvey. Yeah. Okay, do this. Well, I can't. I'm not confident enough. It's like, what the fuck? They say, it's this never-ending, just, what's the word? A paradox. It's a paradox.
Yeah. And, like, I get it, though. I get it, because people are the reason you would say that is to protect yourself, is to keep yourself safe, which is a human nature as well. Like, we're not going to be like, one thing that I know that I've spoken about before is, like, is like people think they should be positive all the time, or they beat themselves up when they think negatively. Like
I
you're
should do that.
hardwired to think negatively because it keeps you alive.
Yep.
If I crossed the road and didn't have a negative thought, eventually I'm gonna get hit by a bus.
Exactly.
The negative thought is, what if there's a car coming?
Yeah, I better look twice. I better check left and right.
Yeah.
You get taught that when you're fucking toddler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
your parents tell you, look when you cross the road. It's drilled into you. And it's survival. Like, we would not be here, sitting here now, Harvey, doing this podcast with all this technology, recording it, this and that. We would never have got past the hunter-gatherer phase 10,000 years ago if we didn't have natural, hardwired negative brains to get us out of pain and towards pleasure, to get us away from discomfort and into comfort. We wouldn't have progressed as a species. So it's normal to feel negative, but you have to understand when your life's on the line, you have to be willing to act even though you don't have confidence. You have to accept that the only way to get what you want is to do it without confidence. And when we talk about our clients and the things they struggle with and when they fall off track, they still haven't quite grasped that yet. They haven't quite grasped that the results is sitting there waiting for them to unlock. They just have to do it anyway without confidence. And until you reach that point when you keep quitting every time you feel not confident enough to do it, you'll keep on failing. So the point of success comes when you go, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I'm not confident. And then when you do it, you realize, shit, I've been missing out on something here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think people get very emotional about it, but at the end of the day, it's very, very simple. You either are happy where you're at, you're willing to put up with what you've got because you don't want to take that jump, or however you want to call it, to do that thing to become confident, to do it without confidence, or you do it without confidence and get the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
It's very simple. There's no in between. We can get emotional, but I've got this, I'm this, I can't do that. But when I've done it before, this happened. Yeah, cool story. Again, like that might sound harsh. You might be a bit triggered by that, but ultimately, life is a lot more simple than we let on. We allow things to get very complicated, very emotional.
Yeah.
Which is, again, human nature. We wouldn't have XYZ emotion if we weren't supposed to. We're designed
for a reason.
We're designed to have it. Yeah.
I think people forget we're animals, Harvey. We are fucking animals.
Yes.
What gives us the right to think that we are of a higher level than a tiger in the wild, or than a lion, than a fish in the sea? They're on this planet and they're living just as much as us. We've just got different DNA and we're a different species, and obviously we are more advanced.
Yeah.
However, we're still a fucking animal, and our feedback, our physiology, the way our body moves and breathes and works, and how we're, put nutrients around the body, and how we respond to illnesses and immune systems. We've got natural built-in shit going on, and our emotions are feedbacks. It's like a computer program, right? That's running away in the background. And when we get feedback, the computer's slowing down. It needs to be charged. There's a virus there. Things will pop up on the screen to let us know what's going on with the program. That's our emotions. Tell them what's going on. If we didn't have those, that's what separates us from the actual, the animals. They have basic emotions and survival emotions. We have other ones, more complex emotions, to let us know, because we need to have the feedbacks, because we have the potential to do amazing things and become this, create civilizations. Like, when you think about where we started from, hunter-gatherers doing fuck all, to here we are now.
Yeah, we're getting
blows your mind.
Killed by everything, but now something comes at us, we can shoot with a gun.
We've developed so much
absolutely,
stuff. Yeah, so much defenses to keep what species grown and grown and grown. We've never seen nothing like it in the history of mankind, as far as what we know, history of the earth. But that's happened because our emotions are so complex. 100%. But we have to understand, we are animals. So what makes us different? Really, we're just more advanced, but we're still animals, just like these other animals.
Yeah,
we've got
100%.
feedbacks, we've got survival things, we've got programming. That is natural. We've got instincts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a natural instinct to want to go and find. Why do you think we fall in love with people? That's there to tell us, because if we didn't, we wouldn't fucking reproduce. We'd die out.
Yeah.
So that chemical feeling of love, it's literally chemical to get us to reproduce and carry on the. When you realise that, it makes life a lot simpler.
Yeah. And
you don't have to make it mean anything more than that.
Yeah, again, like I said, we get very carried away with the meanings, and this means that. It could,
do.
But again, I absolutely love this phrase. When you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras.
Yeah.
Like, in the UK, how many zebras are there, or zebras, whatever you want to call it? How many horses are there? There's a lot more horses right here than zebras. Do you know what I mean? Like, most places, there's more horses than there is zebras.
So
especially
why we're saying it's fucking zebras when it's clearly not?
Yeah, absolutely. So and another thing, and I know people get very stressed out about people judging them their thoughts about other people. What if she judges me? What if he says this? What if they do that? Whatever. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I don't experience that. But you got to remember, as part of being as advanced as we are, we have the ability to judge. So, like, when we put it that way, like, the reason that we're so advanced is because we can judge things, we can judge situations. Like, so, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, sorry, my phone was going off there.
That's
Can't
all right.
believe someone dares to ring us during my podcast, but never mind.
I can't relate. No one ever rings me.
Yeah, you're right, mate. You're right. Even then, though, you said something good, Harvey. We feel judged. Why? You know the answer to this. We're not big. One of our biggest fears being kicked out of the tribe.
Yeah.
Again, nature.
We're not being good enough. Yeah.
Humans become humans because of the close knit bond that we had with social groups. If we didn't have that natural fear, we wouldn't have survived as a species and created close knit groups, because we would have all went and done our own thing. Like the lone wolf, we never would have met the mate to carry on the species. So we care about what people think of it because humans thrive in social groups.
Yeah, exactly.
So fearing judgment is literally a direct attack on our consciousness. Yeah,
and it's the fear of not being good enough. And like, I know, like, a lot of people, especially like in like a gym environment, because obviously that's where we've spent a long part of our careers in gyms. Like, so, like, I know from my background, I work mainly with women, and they're very self-conscious of what if I'm doing something wrong, or what if people are looking at me because something's not right or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but it's that fear of not being good enough, not doing the right thing, and being like ostracized from that sort of environment. But in reality, like, I've had people come. Again, I've recently joined a new gym, and some of the stuff I've never seen before. Like, even people who are like professionals, even the gym at my hotel right now, there's things that I'm like, I'd have to have a little read of the old instructions on that before I jumped on it, because I'm like, I've never seen it before. It's just a bit of equipment from a brand who make it a certain way that I've just not seen before. Like, but I have no issues with that, and in just going into like environments like that and having fun. Like, I was like, I could be like, stress myself out about, I have to be perfect because of what I do, who I am, blah, 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 blah. And when I do something wrong, like, I'd have to leave. But in reality, it doesn't matter. Like, it's my own thoughts, and it's again,
everyone else has got those thoughts at the same time.
Exactly.
We're all human. I get them every day.
Absolutely. Jesus, mate, who's texting?
I don't know, but I'm not happy.
You're popular.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it on silent just in case this happens.
Mate,
again.
I don't. Before I walked in, I was on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'll just text this person.
No stress, mate.
But yeah, you're right, Harvey. And that one of my things that I respond to my clients when they say, "Oh, I'm not confident enough to do that," I'm like, there's 2 ways you can respond to it. You can keep believing that you are not confident enough and avoid the discomfort and stay comfortable and never change, or you can just accept that the only way around it is to do it anyway. There's no level of coaching that I can give. I can't pat them on the back and say, "Listen, here's what it means. Here's how you feel. This is going to make you feel better. Here you go. You'll be all..." That wouldn't serve them. You just need to say, "Listen, do you want these results or not? Either yes or no. You are either willing to do it without confidence, or you're not." That's it. That's essentially it. You know, but one thing I do get them to do is say, "Okay, well, what are you currently not confident about?" "Oh, this. Normally, they're trying to do too many things at once. So I say, bring it back down. Let's do one thing and build. Anyone can do one thing. Doesn't matter how, unconfident you are. Is that a word? How much confidence you are lacking. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're doing one thing, that's a decision, because anyone can do one thing. No matter how big or small, you can do it. Build from there. So my advice, if you've got no confidence right now, you have to accept that you will never, ever, ever, ever have it unless you are willing to act without it. However, you can do yourself a favor and be strategic about it and do one very small thing at a time and slowly build. That's the only way to create confidence.
So one thing that I get my clients to do, especially if they want to improve their confidence, I'm like, right, okay, cool. You've got the challenge you're doing. At least one thing a week that pushes you out of your comfort zone. And again, I don't like the term comfort zone because it's very it's adding unnecessary like drama to a situation. Like, have you ever seen your comfort zone? What does it look like?
I mean, I do use the phrase. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I use it just to relate to my audience because that's what they think.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. But like,
I get it. Yeah,
like, oh, that's out of my comfort zone. That's not in the comfort zone. I'm like,
It's not a real place.
No, it's not. I can't go, oh, we're going to pop to Sam's comfort zone for
Yeah.
a quick cup of tea and then we're going to go to mine and have dinner. Like, nah, it doesn't work like that. But it's worth being more, it's just being mindful of like, well, okay, cool. If that makes me feel uncomfortable, like, but how could, what, I think we look at it very in like scarcity. Like, what could I lose? Oh my God, like that could be really bad. Like, I could lose this, I could lose this. Or what could I gain?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that fear of losing, losing something, whether that's like respect, money, like time, that sort of thing. Like, I've spoken to clients about like, I went on a date this week and it didn't go very well and I'm feeling a bit down about it. And like, realistically, all that's happened there, and again, it's easy for me to say because I'm not emotionally involved in the situation, and I know that, again, I'm sure we'll get onto it, but like, I know when I've like been rejected on a date or someone's like been like, I don't want to see you anymore. I've taken that very personally and got very upset about it. But I'm like, realistically, all you've done is just eliminated a potential partner.
Yeah, mate, you're right.
Did you have fun leading up to it? Yeah. Oh, well, it's not too bad then, is it?
Yeah, I used to. Oh God, I can't tell you how many times that I've had. You know, I've only ever had one serious relationship, my current one, and I plan on that being the relationship I'm in the rest of my life. Like I generally do. However, before that, tried to make a few things work with a few, and it just didn't work. Confidence was an issue, you know. But really, I needed to see that as a blessing. It's a process of elimination. Like, you don't have to take that anything more from face value for what it is. Feedback that this person and you weren't right for each other at that moment in time. You know, if you take it personally, you're making it about you. Really, it's a decision that they decided to make for them. And yes, of course, it feels personal and it hurts, but you have to be willing to keep on doing your thing, even though you've just been rejected. Yeah. You know, you mentioned something great there as well, Harvey, that I need to cover before we'll move on, because we'll just end up
100%.
We're just end up rolling here. The fear thing, only two kinds of fear: the fear of losing something and the fear of gaining something. That's how fear is broken down. So all fear comes down to the fear of loss or the fear of gain. I'm not going to do this because I might lose my job. I'm not going to do this because I might lose my partner. I'm not going to do this because I might lose respect from someone. Yeah, or I might lose them liking me. I might lose favor with them. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, or gaining something. I'm not going to do that because I'll get this. This will happen. Yeah, so something will happen, or you'll lose something. That's it. So when you're thinking about things that scare you, ask yourself, like, what is it that scares you? Well, okay, am I fearing something that I'm going to lose or something that I'm going to gain? Like, what is that? And start processing your fear. And I wanted to talk about that today. It's I've mentioned him before, Jeff Thompson, obviously our mentor, Paul Mort. He's also got a mentor who, Jeff Thompson, and I stumbled across that through Paul, and I've been just totally indoctrinating myself in Jeff Thompson stuff at the minute, and it's really helping. And one of the things that I've learned, I've done a bit of boxing before, you know, I've been involved in a few scrapes on the street, shall we say, when I was younger.
Classic shields.
Yeah, so I've don't get us wrong, I haven't got, you know, stories of this and that, like, but I've been involved in a few scraps, a fair few in my life, and you know, it was always something that if it came to it, I could handle myself, but I was still scared of physical confrontation. Anyone is, because you're uncertain. And it's like the fear of, shit, am I going to get knocked out in front of everyone and they're going to think I'm soft? And this, it's like the male ego thing, classic male ego thing. All males are scared.
If I lose, I'm a pussy.
All males are scared of confrontation. They just won't fucking admit it, right? I don't know if you've ever been involved in this, being where you from, mate. You say you're not a South Shields lad, but we'd literally go meet people for fights on a dinner time, and you know, on nights out, we'll meet them this and that, and everyone was like, yeah, we'll do it. And I'm looking around thinking, well, I'm scared, so I know I'm harder than you. Not that I'm sounding like I'm bragging, but I know I can handle myself more than you, and you're acting like you're not scared. Bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, I could see it from a young age, just male bravado, but I still went along with it because that's what everyone did. You know, so I got, obviously now 26, I'm like, well, I've done a bit of boxing before, I know I can handle myself, but really I am scared of physical confrontation, because in that moment, like, do I think I can, you know, if I had to defend myself, I could, but I don't know. But because I've done practicing it, so I thought, you know, get disciplined with the art of like the controlled aggression, you know, plus it's great fitness. I'm coming out of this transition at the minute where I'm not into weight training anymore. I just do the bare minimum to keep the size I've got, which I'm happy with, but I want to be fit. I want to be a hybrid. I want to be an athlete. And reading Jeff Thompson's book, it was along the lines of go towards the things you fear. One of those things was like, yes, I'm definitely fearing that. I wanted to do it. Like, I genuinely want to do it, but I'm not, because I'm like, I don't think I'm confident enough. I don't think I'll be good enough. Or what happens if I get knocked out in sparring? What happens if this? Then I just read that book and I was like, I'm going to go and do it. And I've been doing it for 3 months and I'm still shit at kickboxing. but I've been sparring at boxing. And
Any martial arts,
Yeah.
it will take you years to get
Yeah.
better. Jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the martial art that I practice as such, again, that was something that maybe didn't go so well. I set myself up to train jiu-jitsu every other day in the last quarter. I did 8 sessions.
yeah,
I was like, just overloaded myself with it. But in reality, like, it was very much, I just set myself up. I set myself up to fail with it. Like, that was too much. But in jiu-jitsu, there'll always be someone that's better than you, and you can't complete it.
yeah,
Kind of in boxing, like, yeah, you could go and win like a world title and defend it, and then retire. But I mean, like, again, with jiu-jitsu, you can go and win competitions, but it's one of those ones that, like, in jiu-jitsu with the belts, it can go on forever.
yeah,
And you get judged on your ability and what the coach or the assessor thinks of your abilities. Like,
yeah.
it's very challenging. But I'm with you on there. Like, martial arts again is an incredible thing, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone.
So do I. Wish I started sooner. That's what everyone says about it. I'm like I've done boxing before,
Massively.
but boxing, I do sparring with a few lads who also do boxing, and I've been sparring with lads who've had fights before, and I'm more than holding my own. I'm confident enough to say that, 100% holding my own, and I can improve on that. And I realise getting punched in the face doesn't even fucking hurt. I knew it didn't, but you forget because I haven't been involved in that in a long time. It's been well over, apart from doing a bit of sparring the last few months, quite a bit of sparring, it's been probably 6 or 7 years since I've ever been involved in a physical confrontation. So I'd got out of the thing a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
whole fears, God, have I still got it? Can I still move? I'm a lot bigger now. I've never punched anything in ages. And then when I got straight back into it, I was just like, yeah, it's the level of training's there. I'm fine. There's nothing to worry about. And getting punched in the face with a head guard on, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Honestly, if anything, it makes your box better. Getting a couple of punches, you start slow, and all of a sudden you get a couple of jabs to the chops. You're like, right, I'm in it now. That's what it takes to get you in the zone. I actually thrive off that. I like it. Weird. I like it. But right now with kickboxing, I want to get better at that. I'm more interested in MMA than boxing. Boxing bores us a little bit. But that's the only thing I'm able to spar at right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
100%.
not on the level, to be honest. I think in my gym that I go to, you have to earn the right to spar. The guys there are professional MMA fighters. It's not. I can't spar because I can't even kick, mate. I can't even get my leg above hip height. I can do low leg kicks, like combinations with a few punches, but high leg kicks, I can't. I would fall over. I'd get tortured. So I know I need to go in and just practice the drills, the technique for at least a year or two, and then maybe in a couple of years I might start sparring kickboxing or transition into grappling, MMA. I'm just trying to see it as this long-term mission where there is no end game.
Yeah.
I can always get better. And the reason, I know I went off on a tangent about the whole MMA boxing thing. The reason I did that is because it was like, right, do things that scare you. And things that scare you doesn't mean things that petrify you. Like, you're scared of it. It's just things that make you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes people fear things. It's just discomfort. That's all it is. Let's stop saying, I'm scared of it, I'm fearful of it, I've got no confidence to do it. It just makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, no.
A lot of people confuse anxiety with discomfort as well. Like, is it anxiety that you're experiencing, or are you just uncomfortable? Or are you just thinking about something that you don't really want to do? There's a difference. So those are the things where your potential is, and that's why I decided to do it, because it was a great fit. It was linking into my values. I like physical fitness. I like staying in shape. I'm not quite liking weight training the way I used to right now, so I need something new. I need a mission. I need a purpose. I need something to humble me, so it can knock me right back down to the bottom, so I can build.
The amount of pure, it's the same in any Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. Anytime that usually a doorman, someone like that who's used to, I win all my fight, like this, was throwing people out, pick someone who's a bit of a scrapper, say on a Saturday night, they'll come in and they'll get beaten up by a quote unquote nerd, scrawny, small.
Yeah,
Probably smells a little bit, but ultimately, that's part of it, because he knows exactly what to do.
Mate, it's a totally different ballgame, right? Fighting on the streets, getting involved in that sort of stuff, compared to actual trained athletes, totally different ballgame. So these people who think, Billy Big Bollocks and hard as nails on the street,
they'll never
weak.
come back. Yeah,
They're weak, and I'm not saying that they're that they can probably fight, but like I say, they're not trained athletes. These guys are. Anyone who, like you say, quote unquote, a little bit of a nerd, who would avoid all confrontation on the street, would probably lash these people who are getting involved in fights all the time, even on the street.
The amount of times, it's quite often see it the people, these doormen are come in for a trial or whatever, and they just won't come back because they got beaten up by a nerd.
I like that. I like that.
Ego
Though.
can't take it.
I like feeling shit at stuff because I've had to totally.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an ego. I've still got one.
Absolutely.
I want to be liked. I want to be successful. I want to be a hustler, a grinder. That's my personality.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
also willing to be like, well, when I'm shit at something, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Like, again, I just want to train. Like, I've pretty much exclusively only ever trained with blue belts at jiu-jitsu, but striped blue belts.
Yeah.
None of this. Like, I just got their blue belt. I'm like, yeah, they've got at least a couple stripes on there.
Yeah.
And I just get absolutely ragdolled. And again, like everyone always says in jiu-jitsu or even in MMA, don't let anyone ever take you back. It happened a couple of times to me when my back got taken just purely from like that, and I'm actually, do you know what? It's not even that bad. And I actively like.
What do you mean? Don't take you back? Where
so they
roll over on your front so they can get you.
Yeah, so you'd either like turtle up, or so they're behind you and they've got arms that can go around your neck. And I know if I'm like down here, chin in, have a hand to protect me, and just keep my chin tucked in, you can't really do an awful lot. I'm relatively safe. Again, in MMA, they can just start punching your face, so your chin will come up and go in. And
MMA
like finish you with a
MMA is its own martial art now, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, like, but with jiu-jitsu, like again, I'm quite happy to like tucking in and just kind of like this. Even like we've even had it like a family event. Like people were just like, I was like, yeah, I bet you can't. Like, I just turtled up and I was like, I bet you can't get me to roll over. And I literally just led there. I was being like, well, these like a load of kids trying to roll me over, and I'm like, just was not happening. Yeah. And you can just stay and it's staying calm. Like I have a very weird story about like lessons that jiu-jitsu teach you. I don't know if you've had like little life lessons that like boxing or kickboxing has taught you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But one for me is like it will be like everything's kind of okay. So I don't like being locked in. I like being in control within reason.
Actually, everyone's like that. Harvey.
Yeah, absolutely. So like
survival, isn't it?
But again, for me, so I'd done that like, and I'd been training jiu-jitsu a little bit, and people like obviously like this is just as I started, and I'm just a thump. Like I'd never passed anyone's guard. It was like quite challenging. But we went to this. We got a place near me called Monkey World. It's full of monkeys, just like for context. And I went into this toilet, and literally when I went in there, I was using the toilet, and I was like, I really hope that I can get out. I just had this weird like inkling that I couldn't get out. Turned around, I couldn't get out. Genuinely, the lock had just sheared and failed.
Yeah.
And I like he would try twisting it to like trying to unlock, and the whole thing wouldn't move. Like the mechanism just failed. And I was like, right, well, I can't really do anything, but I'm safe. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like,
what did you do?
Well, I was like, if there's anything, because there was a window around the back. My girlfriend was outside, so I was like, if you can get anything that I can break the lock to get out, do it. But call security or maintenance to that. So then eventually they kind of come with a crowbar. Like they were more worried that it was a child. When they found out it was an adult, they just like slowed right down.
Just leave him in there.
let him just sit in the toilet. And I was literally just there, and I met there and then. I messaged the guys that I trained jiu-jitsu with, and I'm like, I rewind the clock 6 months, would have lost my shit. Mm-hmm. I'd have been kicking that door. And admittedly, like I was like, right, well, if I'm genuinely stuck, or if something kind of happened, I'm probably gonna have to start like trying to smash my way out, because that's what's
realistically the way you're gonna be able to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
But again, it was okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course it was. But you're right. People would lose that shit in that moment. How much energy would that expend? Which would therefore drop their energy, lower their emotions. But you're right. So that is an example of this level of training coming out in real life.
Yeah.
And I've got similar stories as well. I think
it's that feedback, isn't it? Like there's a couple of things that I've had recently, and I'm like, it's positive confirmation that something's working.
Yeah.
And it's like that, and I was like, that comes
things have to go wrong for you to realise that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
That I've been doing that. That's why I was able to handle the situation.
But once you've done the work, you'll start having things like that. Nothing hypes me up more when I get a message from a client saying, I've just brought and worn a dress that 6 months ago I wouldn't have even dreamt of. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even gone into that part of the shop to look at it. Mm-hmm. It's like that, like seeing, oh yeah, I lost £1 this week. That's great. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, but that's the shit that
reality slapping you in the face. There's the result.
That's cool. That's cool. but that will hype. But they will hype off it. I will get buzzed off of it because I'm like, what I'm doing's working. What theirs doing working. Like, there isn't any real particular like negative to it. Like, everyone wins.
Yeah,
I win, they win.
Universe wins. Yeah. I got one of them today from a client of mine, Paul Doughton. Paul Doughton, if you're watching, my man, tagged us in a post on Facebook. First time in 15, 20 year off the peg suit that he's bought, because he dropped like 3 stones since the start of the year. And obviously that's still about like a weight loss goal, but it was away from the scale, away from the he has my transformation, Sam. It was like shit, like this work, these reps that we've put in. He's checked in with me every single week, drop me WhatsApps every single day since January, fucking 1st of July tomorrow, 6 month. Here he is buying a suit off the peg that he's never he had to get, you know, he was that big, self-admittedly, he had to get clothes custom made. He's able to walk into a shop, buy clothes off the peg. That's a real life example of the universe going, right, you've put the reps in, there's a little gift for you.
Well done. Yeah, pat on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's progress, and you'll notice it only comes that level up comes after the dip. You have to go through some shit. Things have to go wrong. You have to dip a little bit and go, right, fucking hell, what am I doing? And then when you decide to act without the confidence, without the certainty, even though you don't want to, that's when you get rewarded with the gift, and you're like, 100%. There you go. Happened to me a few weeks ago.
Yeah. No, I've had regular ones, and then you just have these moments that I certainly do, where I'm just like, fuck this, gonna burn it to the ground, like this, especially over like the last year. Like, it's been particularly challenging.
Yeah,
but
let's go there, Harvey, because we said we're going to talk about the post lockdown.
Yeah.
So how much has life changed since? For me, right, it's I can't even relate to what it was like pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
Life's just totally changed. My business is different. I was a face-to-face PT before lockdown.
Yeah.
Now I'm running this big online coaching program that's, you know, got a bunch of guys, and it's like, I love it. But I'm like, 18 months ago, I wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
18 months ago, I was a different person. Like, the world was different.
Massively.
Like, it's totally changed.
Exactly
but
the same.
now we're coming out of, I think we had this uncertain phase where people didn't know how long it was going to go on for. And I think pretty much things are coming out now that's showing us that they ain't going to go back to normal. This is it. Like, you better get fucking used to it, kind of thing. And people are either adapting to that or they're not. You know, so...
Arguing reality. Have fun with that, by the way.
Yeah. Honestly, so, like, the changes that we're having to make to our lives right now, it's crazy. But, again, it comes back to that confidence thing. Like, you have to... It's almost starting from scratch, you know? So, what things have you found that's harder to do post-lockdown? Like we mentioned, just like conversations and stuff. Like, are people struggling with that, aren't they?
Again, for me personally, and I think other people will relate to it as well, like, my social skills have regressed.
Yeah, just didn't speak to people personally. It was just online and shit, aye?
Yeah. Like, we...
Fucking Zoom.
Mate, the amount of times that I've spoken to you on Zoom and, like, the phone more than I've ever spoken. I think
it was only the second time I've seen you in person, mate.
Yes.
We spent a couple of days together is it December?
It was just before Christmas.
And then, obviously, I'll see you Friday as well.
Yeah, and then we've had a couple of phone calls, like, I've been in your program, shit like that. Like, there's things like that, like, it's crazy. But then, like, again, like, mine, for me, it's exactly the same. A lot of things have changed. Like, I was sort of going around, like, just started my second year of PT. I just started paying rent at the gym that I was at, which meant I didn't have to do any like bullshit 3 hours where you just go like, I'll go and clean that. And
oh god,
I mean, every time got asked that, I need to go to the loo. Oh, hang on, just pop to the toilet, and come out there half an hour later. Oh, look, I've got me client to go.
But
yeah, again, didn't value it, so why on earth would I do it? But yeah, mate, like, absolutely, like, for me, definitely, like, the social side of it is different. And I think everyone's saying yes to every single social plan, like, socially plans. Do you want to go out for food? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, it's just always a yes. Because they're like, oh my god, like, I think it's just kind of like saying yes now, because what if it goes again?
Yeah, I'm going to be 100% honest. I've noticed a lot of people falling off track.
Yeah.
Lately,
for me, I will be like, I'll throw my hands up. Like, if there's an opportunity to go out, like, I value going out for food.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's an opportunity to do it, I'm saying yes. So that's certainly put a challenge or like a spanner in the works with me, where I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it's like this sort of like slightly conflicting thing at the moment, which I think I've had a breakthrough with. But like, it's this very interesting, kind of like paradox.
Yeah.
That it's a lot of people are falling off track or are finding it particularly challenging in terms of like like staying on track with their diet and their nutrition and their training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, but I get it. Like,
Its routines have changed. What happened before lockdown?
Yeah.
Everyone was in that routine. All of a sudden, bang! Lockdown hit. Out of a new routine. What? Oh my God! What's going on? Blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden, institutionalized because they got into a new routine. Now they're just the lockdown life. That was the way it was, and I think that hurt a lot of people. A lot of people that give them an opportunity to stay in this comfort zone that we've talked about. Don't have to speak to anyone. Don't have to go to work. I can rock out of bed at 5 to 9 in my fucking duds. Yeah, log on Zoom. Work on the phones where
Yeah.
people don't even realize I'm dressed, and then go back to bed at the end of the day. That was their life.
Yeah.
Whereas before, they had accountability to get dressed, they had accountability to speak, they had to go on a bus, go to work, they had to go and grab a coffee and speak to a cashier, they had to go to work and speak to their colleagues. That was gone. So I think people got so comfortable in just living this lifestyle where it was get up, work from home, manage their kids, go to sleep, and it was insane. It got to this point when it was pretty lonely, and I was still, seeing people socially distance, of course, but you get the idea. But I didn't interact with groups of people, and I remember it was like the first little break we had, between lockdown 1 and 2. And this time next year, we'll probably be talking about remember the 2021 lockdown as well. Because I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm telling you right now the way things are going.
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Yeah, let's not go there. Yeah. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Anyways, it was the in between over the summer.
Yeah.
Back in coffee shops, and I remember just sitting there like, wow, I've missed this so fucking much. Just sitting here,
That's
watching
probably
the world
the thing
go
that
by.
really got me.
Yeah, it was like, wow, I'm so grateful. I'm going to be so grateful for like people just being around, out and about. Like I went to Newcastle a couple of weeks ago with my partner, and we went done a bit of shopping or whatever, and we just decided to get a sit down coffee outside. I think it was just Greg's or M&S or something, where they got a sit down area.
Yeah.
Just had a coffee like a latte, just in the street, watching people walk by Northumberland Street in Newcastle town centre, busy as hell. Big city,
the main
Newcastle,
street.
street.
Yeah.
North where Phoenix Window is. If you've ever been to Newcastle City Centre, it's like a big famous, with the Christmas time. It wasn't Christmas, of course, but that's that street, right?
I think I've been. Yeah.
Famous street, Northumberland Street, and just see the hustle and bustle of people walking around. And I was like, God, I'm so grateful for this, because we had 8 months out of the last 12. This didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. But then I also get the flip side of that people got so comfortable with not having to speak to people that they lost that social skills.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think lost is a strong word. I think it's just a
untrained.
Regressed. Yeah, like you said, you don't train for a couple of months. You're not going to be able to go in. This is what I've said.
When you go in, you're going to be sore. You're going to be, oh my God, I'm not as good as I was.
Don't, like, again, say you were picking up 200 kilos off the floor. Yeah, if you haven't trained for, say, 4, 5, 6 months, you're going to struggle.
Yeah,
that's going to be a challenge to pick that amount of weight up off the floor. But yeah, it's a weird one, and I don't know if you've found it either. Like people on the roads, people when they're like walking around the town as well. Like I'm a very quick walker. I'm going from A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B. Like, and just like these people that are just like dithering, and they're like kind of like I look like a lost puppy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people scared to go back to normal life, which is a shame, but I get it. I understand that, and I think that lockdown has had a massive impact on people's social skills and that view on life in general. And I've noticed a lot of my clients, again, what you mentioned before, that going out for food and drinks, and it's all coming back now, they're struggling to say no to things. Yeah. But then they're checking in with me and saying, oh, I don't really want to go out. It's just that I don't want to let my friends down, and I'm spending too much money now, I'm skint. And I'm like, they haven't adapted well to the post-lockdown life, just like they didn't adapt well to the lockdown life when it started. The roles have just been reversed now, so it's all about adapting. It's all about recognizing your trained behaviors, and that if you let your guard down, you'll lose a little bit of progress. It's become the same thing. Just like people were going to the gym and doing well before the lockdown started in 2020, they lost it all. They had to start from scratch. It's the same with that confidence right now, because it did get very easy just to sit in the house, eat rubbish, watch Netflix, not do anything. I mean, some people were furloughed for nearly a year. They didn't even work. So I really feel for those people, because that loss of purpose all of a sudden out of the blue with a lack of routine.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fortunately, I think you are the same. My routine, if anything, I got busier when lockdown started, because I was building my business. I was on a fucking mission last year, mate.
Yeah.
I was building my business. I didn't stop for nothing. Hurricane couldn't have stopped me last year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Like for me, it was a lot of things. Like I was still working, but things changed a lot. Like at the start, I was doing a lot of like FaceTime sessions and a lot of this and a lot of that. Like it was quite an interesting.
It was surreal. Looking back now, it was a surreal experience.
Yeah. Like
I wouldn't like to go back to that. I did what I had to do. And I stepped up and served my clients at a higher level, and I'm getting the rewards of that right now because I put the work in at the start of lockdown to get where I am now. But I wouldn't like to go back to that, full lockdown. There's nothing open. Something I didn't value because, your values are stemmed from things you're void of.
Yeah.
So when I was void of that social interaction, doing these conversations, these podcasts, seeing my guys, going to the office, working with my team, like Luke, who's in the other, the studio,
Luke,
my admin assistant, Natalie, like going to work with them, it gives us so much joy and I feel so grateful.
Yeah.
And when that was gone and we're having to talk on fucking Zoom, it's just like, like, what's this? It's not the same, so, but I get it, the transition, it's hard, like post-lockdown, I get it. It's very, very hard. I think, again, it's just going to come down to training. You're going to have to train your mindset again at those particular things.
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, it's very simple. Like, you can start training, say, X thing again, or you can not. Very, very simple.
Yeah.
You're either you're going to get back to training, or you're just going to let it spiral out of control and let it get 10 times worse, 10 times worse, 10 times worse, the longer you don't do something about it.
Yeah, I do.
But again, ultimately, it's your choice, and I get it. Like, it's challenging. Like, and we don't want everything in our life to be so hard and so challenging. Like, it's I get it. Like, I wouldn't try and get it, but it's
one of them ones. Again, back to full circle back to the start, right? The hardwire human brain. It's hardwired to seek the path of least resistance, the easiest, fastest, simplest way. That is the brain. That is the choice that our brain wants to make, and this is subconscious. We don't physically decide that. Why would you want to wait for results, mate? If I said to you right now, you can make £10,000 in your business this month, or you can make it in a year, you're gonna go month.
Go now.
No. But you got to do this. Oh, well, that's it. Right, I want the fastest way. It's like, well, okay, but is that the right way? It's like, well, you can easily look for the fastest, most convenient, quickest things in life, but is that the way that's going to get you to the next level?
Again, like, I know it's something you didn't want to talk too much about today, but it's no wonder that people are doing faddy weight loss stuff, like take this pill or drink this drink. Of course you would.
That's what the entire fitness industry is built off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And it's people like ourselves who have to pick up the pieces of that and offer people the right way. That there's a reason that some clients, right, will sign up to me. And I'm going to be 100% honest here. And this very small minority will sign up and then they'll quit straight away, but they'll not say a word. Why? Because I revealed to them about what it takes to get the results, and they still don't want it, even though they've paid their money, even though they've been messages back and forth for weeks, they've done coaching calls, they've watched my Zoom trainings. Basically, I've just revealed to them that this is the way, and they go, oh,
nah,
no, it's not quick enough. Oh, what, I have to actually work hard? Fuck that. What, I actually have to give up eating takeaways 3 times a week? Nah, fuck that. It's like, come on, like you've exposed the truth, and they're still not ready because psychologically, impulsively, quickest way. No, there must be an easier way. And these people will just bounce around from quick fad to quick fad, or quick fix to quick fix, fad to fad, and hoping and wishing that they get the answer. But low-level thinkers never come to the realization that it's on them, and that basically it's the slow, steady approach that wins. Old tale what taught as a kid, is it the tortoise and the hare? The hare's fucking smashing it along and he has to take a break and he keeps forgetting and he goes to run ahead and he's like a million miles an hour, stop, start. That's what most people are like. The tortoise just plods along, ends up beating him. That's what life's like,
Consistency. Yeah. Like I said, I can't remember who said it, but someone, again, if you can remember who said it, or do butt in with it, but someone said if you break down what you do, like what successful people do on a day-to-day basis, or people that you admire, because that's people that I admire is going to be different to the people you admire.
Yeah.
You break it down on what they do on a day-to-day basis throughout the course of their life, or even like say 5 years, like even a year, it's nothing special.
Yeah, but what I've found is it's the most successful people are the ones who you're inspired by. They only do things that they love.
Yeah.
They only do things they've got a passion for and that they value. The fastest way, in my opinion, to achieve what you want to achieve in your life is just stop doing shit you hate.
Yeah.
Stop doing it, because you can't go all in on something. Because you can only get results if you go all in. You can't flirt with fat loss. You can't flirt with fucking, building a rocket. You can't flirt with learning how to drive a car. You can't flirt with learning to get an A star in your exams or pass your degree. You've got to fucking go all in. And if you're not willing to do that because you don't like it, that means you're wasting your time. Like, why would you want to go half and half into something?
Yeah.
Like, that's why it blows my mind that people are willing to stay in jobs they hate, relationships they hate, because it's comfortable, it's easy, it's not really that hard, but they're just, oh shit, it's hard, but I just get this, I get that. Like using the job analogy, like so many people are depressed and they don't even realize it because they're just turning up to work totally uninspired, and then they wonder why they feel like that. They wonder why they've got no motivation. They wonder why they've got no energy. It's like you're trying to force yourself to do something you don't even like.
There's two, because you could go around the thing of like only ever do things that you love, but there is also going to be that time where there is going to be a challenge, where it is going to be hard. You are going to have to graft. You are going to have to stay up late. You don't do it forever, but you do it in the short term to get that long-term reward. So it's putting in those long hours, but you don't need to do it forever. It might be something you might have to do, something that you don't enjoy to get it.
Yeah.
Like you might not value being on a diet, but if you need or want to change your body, you need to do that. Like there's not another way around. Like,
people want the result without doing what it takes to get the result. You've got to
massively
to get what's desired. Got to do what's required. Like to get the result, what you desire, what's required. You can't fucking dance around that. And like I said, I've had people before, unfortunately, signed up to me. Sam, I want to work with you. They give us the whole spiel of where they're at. I'm struggling with this, struggling with that. They listen to my audiobook. They're like, Sam, this is me. You're talking directly to my soul. I need your help. And I go, right, here we'll go. Here's how you're going to get the results. Oh, can't do that. But then they still want the thing. It's like, well,
it's not for me.
Yeah. Are you serious? Like, you want the result. This is how I'm going to tell you. Like, are you willing to do it or not? No. And some people are not, mate. Values, it comes down to that. Some people genuinely value that. They'll rather stay unhappy with their body and create a bunch of anxiety and depression just so they can have their 3 takeaways a week and get pissed twice a week. That's the life they want, and they'll never ever get out of that, and they're all right with it. And I have to accept people. I had to do a bit of work with my coach, about trying to get people to value you and value my program and this and that. And I realised there's some people who I cannot help, and I have to be okay with that, because those people that don't even want to help themselves, they don't even give a shit. They think they do. But not really. They don't, because they haven't changed yet. They can't value their body if they're not willing. Like, you can't sit there and say, I'm so unhappy with my body, but then not do anything about it to change it. You can't do it. It doesn't make sense, until you stop valuing why you're in that position in the first place, because you're eating and drinking too much. You'll never change your body. So you've got to change what you value, and you've got to change what you are focused on. And you have to be willing to eat a bit of shit, like you said. This is what's required of me to get what's desired. Am I willing to do that or not? Yes or no? That's the only answer. You've got the life you're willing to put up with, haven't you, Harvey?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, going back to kind of what I was saying there, there is eating shit. There is going through a short-term struggle for a long-term game. And then there's hating something. Yeah. Hating your life, hating your job. I've been in that position. I used to work in a sports centre reception desk. I hated my job. Yeah. I hated it. Yeah. I resented it. I would mope about all day. I'd be, I've got to go to work in a minute. All of these things. But when I changed, because this is when I was doing my fitness qualifications, as soon as I was qualified for the level 2, they had a couple of people leaving the gym, so there was chance for me to work in different roles. They let me leave my reception position early because I gave them a really long notice period because I was going to university. I had the opportunity to go and do kids' holiday activities, which I really enjoyed. I got the opportunity to work in the gym, which I really enjoyed, and I was so much better at. And they just noticed a complete change in me, and I'm like, well, that certain position, like I said, you might like where you're working at, but you might just be in the wrong role. Yeah. And again, people don't always have that, like managers or people in there, they don't have the skills to be like, oh, Susan's really she's very, very talkative, but she's working sat at a computer. But what about if we put her on a front of house role? What if she was a receptionist? What about if she was on the phone? Like, she'd be so much better suited to that, and that would live more in line with their values. Yeah. Like there's been job interviews that I've sat in and actually thinking back, and I'm like, you have no idea what I value. Yeah. And looking back in hindsight, I'd gone for things, and I'm like, well, that wouldn't have worked because I didn't value any of it. Yeah, me too. You just value, well, I've got to get a job. I've got to get paid. And I had my first experience with that when 16-year-old just left school, sitting around the table at my nana's house. So what are you doing with your life, son? My nana, a couple of my uncles, and my dad. And I'm sitting there petrified. Like, I don't fucking know. I'm 16-year-old. All I care about is going out on the weekend, getting pissed and chasing girls. That's it. Like, seriously. That at the time, that's all I cared about. And that fear of like, well, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I just kind of listened to them because you're 16, you just listen to your elders, if you like, your parents, whatever. That's part of growing up, unfortunately. You got to
you've got to learn to be free from listening to your parents. Unfortunately, they know what's best for you at 5-year-old, not fucking 25-year-old, by the way.
Yeah.
So if
yeah.
anyone's still listening to their parents at 25, fuck them off. Yeah. Like, you can still love your parents. You can still love your parents, but I would say that right now, the best thing I ever did is stop fucking listening to my parents. Seriously. Anyways. Different story. Anyways,
Exactly the same. I concur what he said.
Sitting around there, dinner table, 16-year-old, just get a job, any job. Okay, right, that must be what the things to do is, because they're adults and I'm not. I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing, so I'll just listen to them. Went and done an engineering apprenticeship, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure it was a government scam because you didn't get paid. Right, it was a pre-apprenticeship, right? So basically, you went and worked in the factory, so you were giving them cheap labour for fuck all while you were getting trained at a day release on college. And then the idea was at the end of it, you get an apprenticeship. But really, there wasn't enough jobs to go around from the amount of lads who were on this training course. I had like 200 lads on the whole thing, all on different sections in the workplace. Some were doing electrical engineering, CNC. Do you know what turning is? You know what that is? Turning, like a lathe. So you stick your component in the side of the machine, it spins round, and you've got to chop the components. I probably forgot more than it's been 10 years, literally 10 years ago, because I've been left school 10 years, so literally 10 years ago, wow, crazy. Hated it, mate. So we left school, fresh out of school, fear of God's put into us by my parents. You just got to get a job, son, any job, right? Okay, on the metro at 20 past 6 from South Shields to Newcastle, and then a bus from Newcastle to Bladen, Scotswad Road. So it was about an hour travelling all in to get there for 7:30. Didn't come out the factory till 5. I remember my 17th birthday, I did not see the light of day because I woke up pitch black, metro to the factory with no windows, 15-minute break on a dinner time, 15 fucking minutes, no break after that.
Sounds a little bit illegal,
Yeah, I think it was, mate, looking back now. We're probably getting loads of money per apprenticeship off the government as well, and they won't even pay me now, but whatever. Anyways, walked out 17th birthday, and I was that fucking knackered. All I wanted to do was go home. I was going to bed at 7:30 and waking up at 6 the next day and doing it all again. And I was just like, I was 16-year-old, and I was just like, this cannot be my life, because all I wanted to do was go out on a weekend and get fucked up to escape that. On a Friday, me and my mates who I went with would just sit on the metro, just like half day Friday. It was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that. The weeks lasted ages. Like, I can't wait to go out later. We're getting pissed tonight. Yeah, great. And then Monday, on the way back, we'll just look at each other and just be like, and you can kind of get away with it because you're 16. It rolls off your back. But after a couple of years of that, you are a demoralised man. You walk into the main factory where I was working, you see these blokes hunched over, miserable as fuck, smoking as many tabs as they can on their lunch break because they're just overwhelmed, drinking all the time, every night, go to the pub. And I'm like, that's the life it creates. Doing things you hate every day just destroys you because you think there's no way out of it. You think you become institutionalised to think that's all it is for you. You know, so I'm so glad, like I say, look back now, I'm grateful for that year of hell, because it was a year of fucking hell. And as soon as I got the opportunity to leave, I did, and I've never looked back. There's no way I could have kept that life up.
Yeah.
I'm just too creative, too intellectual for that. And that's not a dig at anyone who has a job like that. I'm just saying that wasn't for me. And I knew that at a young age. I knew it. I could not live that life, seriously. And it breaks my heart to see you are in King Street today, walk along town centre, South Shields town centre.
Yeah.
That look of total demoralisation is written all over people's faces. All over people's faces. They have accepted a life that they didn't want, and they accepted it a long time ago. Breaks my fucking heart, mate.
So this is, I had a bit of a couple of months ago, I had a bit of a kind of like blow after blow after blow kind of thing, and it was just like, again, realistically, some things happened that I didn't like, and I was like, oh, fuck this off, I'm just gonna burn it to the ground, like give her no money back, and I'll just go and get a job. Now, I got frog marched to Tesco's, right? And then we walked all around the store, look at her face, look at his face, look at his face, look at her face.
Who did that for you? Who made you do that?
So it's actually the girl that works with Sam, and he did it to her.
Yeah.
You got to look at their faces.
Yeah.
Go and ask them how their life is.
I love that.
Go and ask them what their life's like. And there was one woman, like, and you could just see it on her face that she wasn't like buzzing and happy like we are now. Like, it was.
I feel for them, mate.
I do.
Makes us want to cry, seriously.
No, absolutely. But again, it's until you decide it's not okay. It's okay until it's not.
I think that's what school gears you up for, mate. I'm big anti, like, it sounds bad, but I'm anti-education right now. I've got this, I don't speak about it a lot because I don't want to shit on people and their beliefs, but I went through the whole education system as a teenager, as a college student, as a university student, and I realised that,
yeah, man.
Do you know, you listen to Chris Williamson, yeah?
Yes.
He was talking about this the other day, and I was like, bang on, mate. Bang fucking on. I'd love to get him on the podcast, by the way. One of the most intellectual guys I've ever
cool
listened to.
dude.
He's cool. He was saying that, like, the standard education is just, like, it doesn't serve you at all. It doesn't serve you at all. It teaches you to be it teaches you that failure is the norm, and it teaches you that the world's run by fear. If you don't do this, you'll not go to...
You get attention.
Yeah. Mate, I was 13-year-old pissing about in the back of science class, just putting the Bunsen burners and the taps on. I'm 13, I'm a child. You haven't even spoke to me on that level. Like, I'm a child. You're telling me I'm going to go to jail later in life just because I'm carrying on with my mates at the back. Yeah, I was a bit of a bad lad, getting up to no good, but I was a kid. There was no leaders who were communicating to us on a kid's level.
You didn't know any better.
Didn't know any better. No one else has shown me. The only way, the discipline. If you don't do this boring fucking work, that's got no relation to the real life whatsoever. If you don't do your algebra, you're going to go to jail. How irresponsible is that as an adult? I would love to I know exactly which teachers it were as well. If I met them right now, I wouldn't be angry about it, but I would just say, do you realise that you had that conversation with me when I was that old and you said this? Well, guess what? I went against all of your advice.
And you do what you do now.
And I think I could teach you a thing or two about how to communicate to kids to help you become a better. Like, that might sound a little bit like, I don't know what the word, like, egotistical from me, but I'm so passionate about it because I remember...
You need to talk to people on their level.
I'm only out of school 10 years. Like, I still consider myself a young person. I can't believe I'm saying I've been left school 10 years. But I can still relate to how I felt. I was just a lost kid who didn't know what I was doing. And no one communicated to me on a level that I needed to be communicated with. And I made so many fucking mistakes because of that, because I had no leaders. Fortunately, it worked out, and I'm grateful for that. Like, I am grateful for that teacher. I would love to see that teacher right now and say, you know what, this is how you made me feel at the time, and that affected me in later life, because if you're telling me I'm a bad lad, I'm just going to be a bad lad then, aren't I? I'm just going to not fuck. Why do I give a fuck? The people who I'm trying to, impress or whatever are just telling us I'm bad anyway, so what's the point? I'll be like, that was wrong, but you know what? I'm grateful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for that gift. Yeah. But like the whole education system, like I say, I think it just is designed about fear. If you don't do this, you don't get this. It's a one-size-fits-all approach to where you get kids 16, 17 leaving school who are that petrified that they settle for anything. And that's the man above, whoever you want to say is the man.
Jesus.
Yeah, the man. No, not him. Just the man, sticking it to the man, the man who runs the world.
Yeah.
Powers that be.
Guy, yeah.
The man.
I know him, yeah.
So you get another win. That's what they want. Let's conform society into these worker bees who are just all miserable. They're all relying on medication. They're all getting pissed. Like, why do you think alcohol is the most readily available drug? Because it dumbs you down. It helps you escape reality. That's why I don't drink, because it just makes me feel depressed.
Exactly the same. And I have a lot of warnings from people who just get boozed all the time. And I'm like, that is so far removed from how I want to live my life. I'm not going to indulge in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I set at the start of the year, I set myself the challenge of 2021, no booze.
Have you had a drink this year yet?
No.
Have you? Amazing.
No.
I've had a couple, because I had 1 or 2 social occasions. In fact, I'm having a drink tomorrow because I'm at a wedding. But I know the difference now. I used to be all or nothing. I can literally have a couple of drinks now and I'm like, I am done. And I don't give a shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I give more of a fuck about other things. But I think people who struggle with alcohol, it's because they haven't got anything else in their life to give a fuck about. So why do they need to be fresh for it? I think if you want to overcome, drinking all the time, and a lot of guys struggle with that, especially men. Again, when I was at Rolls Royce, that's all we did. We waited until Friday. We'd count down the fucking day until we could get pissed. And Friday was getting pissed. Saturday was getting pissed. Sunday was spending hungover in bed, wishing my life was different, feeling depressed, doing it all over again on Monday. So many people are caught up in that because they don't actually have anything else outside of that. So the only release is to get pissed. So I think the reason, the way you need to overcome this relationship with alcohol is to create something that you give a fuck about. If you don't have that, you always drink.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Makes
because
sense,
what else are you going to do? Most people say, I would drink. Well, what else is it to do? Nothing. If you're not creating anything, there's nothing else to do. So you're going to drink every week. You've got to create something different that requires you to be fresh. And when it does, and you realize how amazing you feel when you don't drink, my life changed as soon as I stopped drinking. I'd say from the age of 16 to 21, every single week. Maybe it's probably, I can count on my fingers and toes maybe out of 6 or 7 years. Probably just my hands. Probably not even my toes. The amount of gaps I had in between. I'm talking about every week, at least getting pissed. At least a house session. If we didn't go out, went to a house and we got full of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. And I was like, I was wondering why I was creating anxiety and feeling depressed with my life at the time. Wasn't the cause of all of it.
Yeah.
But that was a big fucking reason. A big reason.
Obviously, there's a couple of years difference between you and I, but like,
How old are you?
so I'm 22.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of years between us, but like, I feel I resonate with people your age and a little bit older than I do with people my age.
Yeah. Harvey, you're do you know when you were on that coaching call the other day? Was it with Paul? And he was like, "How
Yeah,
old are
on
you?" And you're
Monday.
only like 22. I was like, "Mate, at your age, I didn't have nothing."
Yeah.
So you're already killing it, mate. If you're 22 and you're this knowledgeable already,
It doesn't
holy
feel
shit.
it doesn't feel like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's again, like, this is one thing that I've taken away from you and I absolutely love, and I'm like, I use it all the time now, is the images in my head are very different to my reality of what I want in here. My current reality is not there, and I'm working on closing that gap. I want that to
all he
change.
can do.
Then I want to think of the next thing, close
Yeah.
that gap, close
Yeah.
that gap, close that gap. But that, again, that's another story for another day. But like, I resonate with people that are a little bit older than me a lot better. And it's just having that sort of,
Do you know what you've done though there, mate? You've created that peer group that we always talk about.
yeah.
You've put yourself around people who, I'm just going to say it, are either better than you, or more knowledgeable than you, or further ahead in the chapter than you.
I'm okay being,
Yeah.
I think I've got okay with being the runt the later,
Yeah.
like the bottom of the pecking order. Him. Like, they might think, him. But I'm like, yeah, but I want to be around you.
You're watching, you're adapting. Like, it's a
now-
powerful place to be, mate.
I could probably count on maybe 6 or 7 people that I'm like, I want to hang around him more. I want to hang around him more.
Yeah.
More. I'm gonna listen to these people's advice.
Yeah.
I'm
You ever
gonna go
heard
to
the
these
saying, you're the
guys.
average of the 5 people you hang around?
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed a couple of weeks, maybe like 6 weeks ago, I was like, I'm hanging around with too many people that they're not pulling me down, because I like to think
No
that
one pulls you
I'm
down.
not better than them.
Nobody pulls you
Everyone's
down.
an equal.
You
there.
rise up to your environment.
Absolutely. But it was a low level environment, so I was like, well, why am I doing this?
Why, you got no incentive to
you
rise.
go back down, and then I'm like, I noticed that difference, and I'm like, hang on. And again, like I said, the picture in my head versus my actual reality was so much further. It got further away, and I'm, what the? And again, like I said, I could have just started drinking.
That's when
I
you
could have
feel
started
depressed,
sniffing.
mate. That's when you feel depressed. When
absolutely.
the pictures in your mind don't match reality, that's when you're like, shit, I feel hopeless. That's depression. That's the strategy for depression. We've always said this. Emotions are not an accident, and depression gets a big... It's controversial to talk like this, because they'll say it's this, it's that, and I'm not saying all depression's caused by that.
No,
but
absolutely.
most people are just disempowered with their current situation, because in their mind their life should be like this. This is what I wanted for myself, but this is what I've got. Holy fucking shit! What do I do about it? And then life becomes escaping that reality, escaping
big
that
time.
feeling. Because as soon as you go there in your mind, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I don't look how I want to look. I don't have as much money as I want to have. My relationship's fucking a disaster compared to what I thought it would be. You know, I've got all the, these kids running around who are fucking crazy, and I've got no idea to control. Like, I've had conversations with my clients. They love their kids, right? But they'll be on the phone sometimes in tears, especially during lockdown. I really felt for those mothers who were having to, that their partners were at work all day. Maybe they were working away still, like offshore and stuff. And I know that was going on. And like, the mothers back home managing the kids, trying to run their own job from home while homeschooling. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And they were on the phone just saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't look after my kids. And obviously it was just a temporary thing, but they were so depressed because of that situation. I was just like, holy shit, like, the reality about what they expected was totally different.
But
totally different, and they couldn't handle it.
Those sort of things, it gets to a point where it's like that, like, you just, there's too much, so obviously you become overwhelmed with it.
Become totally powerless.
Then no wonder that you feel hopeless, because how would you get out of that when there's so much going on around you?
Yeah.
And it's, again, what's going on around you. Again, I bet that if that was how you wanted it to be, it was the ideals in your head, bang, I bet you definitely wouldn't be feeling hopeless. I bet you'd be feeling excited and empowered.
Yeah.
But you flip the switch there.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be the other way.
I
Like,
think
of course
the
you feel
opposite
dissonance.
of depression is elation. Am I right with that? Elation, depression.
Probably.
Yeah, I
but
think
then
when
I
you're
think
elated, you're like, oh my fucking god, what the hell?
it's happy and bored that are the opposites.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think a lot of people again realized in the lockdown periods where they were like, they were bored. So of course you didn't.
Well, I
feel
think
happy.
I've said this.
there wasn't that stimulation.
The devil makes work for idle hands. I'm pretty sure that's in a Morrissey song.
Yeah,
The Smiths.
Yeah, and then it's one of my favorite quotes ever is, again, I'm gonna absolutely butcher it, but
Is
it's
it the Smiths? Aye,
I have
that's
no
his
idea,
band, isn't
mate.
it? Pretty sure.
But yeah, one of my favorite quotes is a Conor McGregor quote, and it's like, if you're not working, that's where doubt comes in.
Yep.
and then it's something like, so if you want to remove doubt, you've got to be working.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Like,
Yeah,
sorry, Connor, if you
Yeah.
again, if
Well,
you're
well, that quote, the whole devil makes way for idle hands, I
Yeah.
think it was in a song, but it must be from the Bible. And essentially means if you're sitting there doing nothing, your brain will find things to fight, to have a problem with. Like you've got to work towards inspiring challenges, otherwise your brain will fill them with uninspiring challenges. If you're bored, you'll open the door for negativity. You're bored. So you're going to overthink because it's natural. That's your human's brain's job to solve problems.
You've not got something to focus on, because obviously where attention goes, energy flows. No wonder you'd end up going and looking for trouble. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you're going and like looking for trouble. Maybe you sat at the back of the classroom. Like it's such an like you look at it now as an adult and you start to understand like emotions and how kind of the world works and start to question things. Very quickly you become a little bit more in tune with what's kind of going on and being like, okay, cool, what? Of course you did.
Yeah,
it's obvious. Of course you would.
Yeah,
of course that would happen. Of course that would be this. Of course that would be that. But yeah, it's just, again, you need to make that decision of, again, do you want to change or you don't want to change? It's completely up to you, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I believe that. And, we're rolling with this whole depression thing. I think the opposite emotion to depression is elation, So what are you doing when you are elated and excited? You are not bored, are you? You're not. You're engaged with something that you find inspiring or that you value or that makes you feel good. Yeah, so the opposite of that, depression, you could literally just be without purpose. So many people felt depressed during the lockdown because their expectations, I've got my job, I've got my office, I'm able to go here, I'm able to go to the gym, I'm able to do this. Oh my God, it's been took away from us. What the fuck do I do now? And then depression is created when you feel powerless to change your current circumstances. It always stems back to that. People feel powerless to change their current circumstances. So the feedback emotion is depression to let them know you're disempowered. This is how you feel when you don't have a purpose. This is how you feel when your expectations are not met in reality. It's the perfect emotion to let you know you need to change your reality and close that gap, like what you said. You can cure depression by getting your expectations to come down while changing your reality. A lot harder to do that. It's not as easy as how I've just explained.
No,
of course it's not.
Nothing is.
I remember when I was depressed, mate, I was like, I had these negative glasses on. I could not see past my own, this is it. All I could see, I was consumed by it. It was feeding off us. And I think depression is almost like a parasite that's been placed in you, and it's feeding from your it's feeding from your energy and converting all of your energy to negativity. Yeah, it's going there, and that's what depression is. It's constantly feeding off you, and it's just causing you to focus on that and only that. And you've got to become self-aware enough to realize that it's because my expectations are not being met. So what are my expectations? Okay, how can I work on them and get them to be more realistic? Because you can't just expect to go from feeling depressed to elated. It's 0 to 100. You've got 0 to 1. Then 1.5, and then 2, and then 2.1, and then 2. There's so many things we need to change first. So what I help people who, with clients who are experiencing depression, struggling with their mental health, I say, let's break it down. What expectations you've got about how you want your life to be. Yeah, what area across your life, maybe it be your mindset, whether it be your values, your relationship, your physical health and well-being, normally something to do with that. Yeah. Money. There's like five areas, I believe, that, we need to work on. And it's normally one of those 5 areas. That's part of my coaching program. I'll not reveal too much, because it's secret stuff, this. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to give away all my secrets. You have to join my program for that. But it's normally one of those areas that they're not empowering themselves in, that they need to close the gap on their expectations of reality. Then we work on closing the gap across those areas. Bye-bye depression, eventually. Got to work at it, though. Yeah?
Yeah. Like, and I mean, from my experience, when I felt sort of, I don't think I've ever had depression. I just created a
Harvey,
mess.
I'm going to stop you right there, mate, because so many people, that's the problem with mental health these days, right? So many people they're not humble enough to admit, I was struggling, because depression is essentially an emotion. So that's you saying, I wasn't feeling an emotion. You fucking were, mate.
Yeah.
You're feeling depressed.
So there was a time, but again,
that's your world, though.
I look back now, and I was like, this, and this is why.
Yeah.
Because I'd created that emotion
but
for
you're
myself.
Still depressed, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't never what's the word?
Okay.
Devalue your feelings, because we do this, and this is what keeps people stuck. I did it. What the fuck have I got to be depressed about? There's people who've got it much worse than me, when in reality that didn't solve my problem. I still felt fucking depressed. So some people need to sometimes accept, I am a little bit depressed. You have to admit, I'm
life
depressed.
sucks,
I'm
yeah.
struggling right now. I'm disempowered. I'm hopeless. I'm powerless to change. I need help. And so many people will refuse help, especially men, because what it would do? Oh, well, such and such have got it worse.
Yeah.
I used to get so angry with myself because I'd be like, why the fuck am I like this?
Yeah.
What am I scared of? Why am I getting these panic attacks? Why am I depressed? It's a fucking disgrace, Sam. Like, I had these, this negative self-talk. What have I got to be depressed about? Kids in Africa who are starving hungry, how are they okay and I'm fucking not? And I beat myself up, but I realised that sometimes if you are feeling an emotion, don't discredit yourself and just say, listen, I'm struggling. It doesn't mean you've got a disease. I think that's the thing. People label it as like a disease and this and that. And when we're feeling it, we'll say, well, that can't be me. I wasn't depressed. It's like, you are though. Like, you're experiencing the feeling of depression. I think everyone's been there. Some people just stay there a little bit longer and it manifests into something bigger. Yeah. But everyone's felt depressed.
Yeah. No, a lot of mine was doing things that I didn't like doing.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship I didn't like doing. And then it got to a point where I wasn't helping myself out.
Yeah. You know when people say talk about it? This is talking about it, Harvey.
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh, it's okay to not be okay. We're saying, listen, this is how I felt. This is why I was created. You know what? This is normal.
Yeah.
Like, if we normalize this feeling, like so many men could listen to that and go, God, that's exactly how I felt. It'll help them talk about it because we're explaining. I wanted to know as a man, why do I feel like this and what does it mean? What does it mean? I didn't want it diagnosed. I didn't want it labeled. I didn't want a pat on the back. I didn't want someone to wipe my tears away. I just wanted to fucking feel better. I just wanted to feel more in control. So if we label depression as an emotion, I believe it helps us become more in control to understand it better, rather than putting it up on this pedestal as this big scary thing that we've got no control over.
Yeah.
You can choose to see it that way and feel disempowered that you'll ever change, or you can choose to feel how I feel about it and say, listen, like, anyone can feel depressed. Anyone can struggle with depression. It's our emotional well-being and our mental health at the end of the day. And our mental health is there to guide us of what's going on. And if we are feeling a negative emotion like that, we have to accept it and say, let's stop. Nothing else matters now. This matters most importantly. Let's get to the bottom of this. But people are not getting help because they have that mentality that we as men have. Well, I don't think I was depressed. It's like, well, if you're struggling, you are. Like, why can't we just, like, admit it? And I know it's hard.
Yeah, no, it's
because it's not tangible, mate. It's not tangible. Mental health isn't tangible. If you've got a health condition, you'll get a test and it'll show you. Whereas this, you can't. I don't even know how to diagnose it because there's no test for it. Like,
exactly. It's say you broke your leg.
Yeah, you'd be.
It's very, very, very tangible.
Mental health's not tangible.
There's a bit of bone sticking out of your leg.
Yeah.
And when it's fixed, it's not going to be sticking out of your leg, and you're going to be able to walk on it.
Yeah, it's not tangible,
you know
so
what I
we'll
mean?
never
So
know. So it's hard, isn't it? It's so hard to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think talking certainly helps.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it solves the problem. And I think early on I maybe had some bad advice. Oh, sweetie, it's okay. And I'm like,
as a man, how did that make you feel, Harvey? Let's cut the bullshit right
again,
now. How did that make you feel? Worse.
You feel
I felt
mollycoddled.
fucking worse.
You felt like
I'm not going to
speak.
speak. I'm not going to speak up again. Then that one time I tried to speak, I went to the doctors and I even disguised it as I had these issues with my stomach, which I did at the time. IBS, probably caused by stress. Yeah. And then at the end, I was like, anything else? I was like, yeah, I've been feeling like, quite depressed at the minute, and sometimes I get a little bit scared, and I have these negative thoughts. I labeled it as negative thoughts. In reality, I wanted to blow my fucking brains out on some days, but I didn't say it as that because I was scared. Oh, you're just feeling a little bit down on anxiety. It's just anxiety, that's all. Next. And I'm like, I was like almost like combination of, am I going to cry here or am I going to fucking rage? Because it was like, and that was my experience of trying to talk. It was just like bang, brushed under the carpet, boom, fuck off. And I was just like, right, I'm not talking again.
But again, like, now when you're feeling well and feeling more rational, like, of course you'd be like, okay, cool, well maybe let's change tack. What could I do differently next time?
This is why I talk about it, Harvey, the way I do, because I know there's someone listening to that go, Sam, that's how I feel, mate. Bang, right, okay, I'm in it now. Yeah.
So again, like, it's they kind of, you kind of get given what you want, or just like sort of brushed. But like, okay, so say if it doesn't work, but when you're feeling down, when you're feeling hopeless, well, I've tried once, so I'm not going to do it again. But like now, like, say I did something and it didn't work out, I'd be like, okay, cool, what can I learn? How can I do it? But when you're down and feeling depressed, feeling hopeless,
worst thing you can do is isolate yourself.
Absolutely. And then it's like, well, that's not work. So, but like again,
The lone wolf never eats,
something,
Harvey.
make something,
The lone wolf never eats, he starves. And like I say, the advice that I've got now, especially for males, obviously I've never been a woman, so I can't comment on that. But
only
as a
on
man,
Saturday nights.
apart from that, as a man, I know exactly what they need to hear. They need to hear this is the thing. You're a man and you're not broken. You currently feel like this because of this, but here's what you can do about it, and he has a group that can help you.
Yeah.
Don't isolate. Teach them not to isolate. Teach them not to be the lone wolf. Show them there's some support, but that there's some physical actions to go with it. You know, the talking thing's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, and I think as for guys, it's a lot more about doing.
What are doers? Guys
Yeah.
are problem solvers. Girls
Yeah.
have so much more of emotional capacity. Women, should I say? Women have so much more of an emotional capacity than men. The yin and yang, you know, it's what the female part of the brain, the male part of the brain, it's what's allowed us to coexist and breed, essentially, and create close-knit social groups. Whether you like it or not, there is predetermined, you know, traits within the human DNA of men and women. There's differences, otherwise we wouldn't be attracted to each other and vice versa. That's the way it is. You can't ignore that, you know. So I think women have an ability to connect on a deeper emotional level than men, but I think men have an ability to solve problems. On average, not stereotyping here, I'm just saying on average, they have an ability to be doers and problem solvers. Like, you can't ignore that. Look at human nature, look at history. I know we're getting into the new age right now where there is no gender roles and this and that. Hey, maybe that's just human evolution where we're breaking that down. But physically from our ancestors, look at the human DNA, you know, that was it. Men are problem solvers. Problem solvers. We've got to be solving problems. We've got to be doing things. We've got to be creative. And if we're not, that's where anger comes in. That's where violence comes. That's where depression comes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am very much in my head, and when I have, like, say a client comes in and it's like, oh, this thing's happened, and I'm like, cool.
What's next? What's the next step? What can we focus on now?
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people, I'm like, okay, you're gonna bring me a problem, but you're going to leave with a solution.
Yeah, it's got to be solutions. So that's traditional therapy doesn't do enough of that. It's all about problems. I work with so many people who have been to traditional therapy, and they tell me the stories, and I'm just like, oh my God, I am gobsmacked.
Yeah.
I'm gobsmacked. And I'm like, that will never, ever work.
Again, I've been through like the stereotypical sort of CBT therapy, and like I said, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert. I can only speak from my own personal experience, because that's the only, like, I can't speak from the mouth of anyone else. But for me, I certainly found that it was the whole thing was reaffirming my story and what I was saying, and there was no questioning it. There was no okay, and then how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
But
so what happened to you in childhood, son?
Yeah.
Well, do you really want to take us back there? I'm trying to solve my problems here, mate. You know what I mean?
And like you said, quite often there can be things from then, but I'm like, I don't like.
It's not going to solve your problem right now.
Yeah.
I'm all for the therapy, the talking.
Yeah.
But there needs to be some practical solutions as well. So it just needs updated with the modern what we know now about human behavior.
It's like a Band-Aid, then we'll look at physio kind of thing. It's kind of the way that I would look at it. You look at the sticking plaster, then we maybe, okay, cool. Maybe you need to do some physio exercises on that.
Like, all therapy, all counselling, all talking is good. Better than going it alone. Better than isolating yourself. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So if you're in therapy right now or counsel right now, continue with it. But ask questions and say, how can I get some solutions? Because I bet these people who are doing it, they're ready to give solutions. They're just following a script, unfortunately, about what the higher up are telling them. You know what I mean? Yeah, but Harvey, we could talk about this all day, my man. But we have to wrap this up, dude.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, that was awesome, mate.
Thanks so much for having us on.
Next time we'll hopefully be in my studio, but I don't even know where the next quarterly will be. But
I don't know, mate. Again, with this flexibility stuff, I might be able to come up for an Elite X meet, and we'll have a day together.
Amazing.
Talk all day.
Well, I'll see you Friday as well, mate. But that's cool. Mate. But yeah, awesome. Harvey, thank you, my man. I really appreciate it. We will.
Cheers for having us on. Appreciate it.
We will go from there, mate.
Cool.
Good stuff, mate.
Nice.